Haha, there you are. How are you? Good morning and welcome. This is Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy. And good morning. Today we've got an exciting live lesson. We're going to be looking at personal finance, if I can pronounce it properly. Personal finance. That's all about how much you earn, how much you spend, how much you save, and lots more. It's going to be a very interesting lesson. Looking forward to it. Let's begin with a little bit of this. Hello, good morning, everybody. This is Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy. If you don't know, I have this website. It's down here, Keith Speaking Academy, as well as running the YouTube channel, English Speaking Success. By the way, if you're on YouTube, please do turn on these things. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification button so you can find out about more videos coming up your way very, very soon. Great. Nice to be with you all here today. Those of you on Facebook, also welcome. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm at Keith Speaking Academy. Today, slowing down is an exciting topic because today's topic is personal finance, which I think is interesting not only for IELTS and for English, but also for life. I'm looking forward to sharing some interesting ideas about how you manage your personal finance. It's interesting to look at how people make money, how they spend money, and how, if possible, they save money as well, right? Not always possible, but an idea. And we're going to be talking a bit about investing today as well. So listen, let me just take you through, as an introduction, what we're going to do today so you know what's coming up. Personal finance. I got matching colours. Look at that. And earthquakes. It's not. It's the table. So personal finance, we're going to kick off with that. We're going to move on and talk about vocabulary around money and finance, right? The essential things that you need to know. We'll go on and ask this question. Have you ever invested? I did ask the guys on the Facebook group, got some interesting answers, also on YouTube as well. And a lot of people have answered my quiz. So I'm going to be sharing the results of the quiz with you. We will discuss the best investments. So if you're interested in investing, well, it's a dangerous world, right? The world of investing. But we're going to look at the English language of investing. Just to be clear, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial expert. Any advice I give today, please do not follow blindly. Do your own research. Okay, just to be clear, that's a waiver. Toolbox, I'm going to share a really interesting tool to help you with your vocabulary today. Also, we'll be looking at some idioms and doing a little review at the end, as we normally do. So, all of that is going on today around personal finance. Let's take a quick look at how you guys are doing. Who is in the house today? I'll see in my comments box. Ishampreet Kaur, thank you very much. Oh, I'm not sure about that intelligent, but thank you. Abdullah, there's no advertisements today, not at the moment. No financial companies backing me, obviously. Kanata from Japan, hello. I did get my hair cut, yes, shaved. I have clippers, so I just like to shave it all off. Yeah, absolutely. Deepika, come on, that's matching in my books, it is. Louisa, nice to see you here. Already asking an interesting question. Can you buy happiness with money? Well, we're going to find out today, Louisa. We're going to answer all the questions of the world and solve all the world's problems today. Hello, Jack Reacher. Interesting, Jack. Nitu, Mijan, Parta. Great. Lots of people here as well today. Great. So nice to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to jump straight in, I think, because the first thing that I mentioned we're going to look at, right, is finance. Personal finance is the vocabulary element. Why, when they look at vocabulary, does the dollar always come out? Always get a picture of the dollar as though it's the most important currency. Well, it is, but for how long? Who knows? So I've got a quick question before we kick in, actually. Here's a very quick question. This one over here. I'd like to know, what do you spend most money on each month? Now, maybe you spend money on food, on clothes, on books, on rent, maybe, or your mortgage. What do you spend most money on each month? Write down in the chat box. Let's just see the first question to get you warmed up in the morning. Nagis, thank you very much for your comment. Regina from Israel, hello, nice to see you. Hello, Christy as well. And from Uzbekistan, Shorobek, nice to see you. We always have a nice crowd from Uzbekistan. And we got from Kenya, Elizabeth as well, great. So, what do you spend most money on? I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see. My comments have seemed to have stuck. Oh, let me see what's going to happen now. Fun and games. Okay, bear with me. Let's just have a look if we can get any comments coming out. We have. Great. I'm back in. So, Lorena says, I spent most of my money on food. Ahmed says IELTS lessons, right. Boba from the Basque Country. Buenos dias. Just food. Great. Facebook user says mortgage. Yeah, that can be a steep cost. Communication. Interesting. Food. Foods. I wonder why you would say foods. That's interesting. Because you're thinking different kinds of foods, maybe. Generally speaking, we would use food as an uncountable noun, right? I spend a lot of money on food. We would put that in the singular normally as an uncountable noun. Great, Boo. It's our first lesson of the day. Thank you very much. Electricity, water, food, says 2. Warrior says, I spend my money for the gym. I spend my money. Now, here's a really good start to the lesson. Thanks to this, Warrior, because instead of for, we say, I spend money on something. Spend money on the gym, right? So, nice. That's great. Thank you very much for showing everybody that. Le Mans, guitars? Wow. Yazaman, buying clothes, right? Mama says, mostly on food and clothes. Ob, books and plants. I like it because all of the others are in the plural, and this is right? So food, singular, but books, plants, clothes in the plural. Excellent. Indian song, medicine. Oh dear, now you're either very sick or maybe you're a doctor. I don't know. Right, good. I spend most money on food and clothes. Perfect. Food and clothes. Okay, some interesting ideas, all of you, on how you spend different amounts of money. So listen, let me push on. Well, okay, no, I'll tell you why I'm asking this, because I just realised. I asked a question the other day about your attitudes to money, and I'd like to have a look at the results, right? There were different questions that I asked you, and here we go. I can pull up the results over here. It was a financial quiz, basically, about how you feel about money. It was really interesting, and thank you, all of you who answered. There were 466 responses. That's a lot. It's just a fun quiz about money. So let's have a look at the results, right? This is what you said. I think I can make this bigger. How do you feel about money? Well, it seems that most people say, I love it. 62% of the of the students said they love it. That's the vast majority. Hey, this could be interesting language for your IELTS writing. At the same time, about a third of the people said it's no big deal, right? And very few people hate money. That's good to know. That's good to know. Money's, not a bad thing. I guess it's what you do with it that matters. Budgeting. Do you plan a budget for your monthly spending? So to plan a budget is to make a budget where you decide how much money you're going to spend on different things each month. So it's interesting. Almost half of you said that you do have a budget. That's really good. I mean, I was impressed. I used to have a budget for my monthly spending. To be honest, I don't have one now, but I used to, and it was really helpful. And about a third of you said sometimes. This was interesting. Are you more of a saver, an investor, or a spender? And exactly half of you said that you're a saver. So that's interesting. Half of the students feel that, they are a saver. Saving is important to you. And I think that's really good. Obviously, saving for a rainy day. You never know what the future holds. So it is important. Almost a third of you are spenders. So you spend money more than anything else. And we do have a small percentage, 17%, who are investors. And we're going to look at that as well. I wonder why some people don't invest, because it's similar to saving in many ways. There's risk, but we'll talk more about that later. To what extent do you think you're financially literate? Well, financially literate, look at this. 78 of you, so the top figure seems to be about 7. So we could say 16% of you feel that you have a financial literacy of 7, which is pretty good. It seems like for the most part, a large proportion of the students feel they have a mid to high level financial literacy. So you're around the kind of the 6 and the 7 level, which is interesting. And then I asked you, what question would you ask a financial expert? How to save money? How can I invest my money in a safe way? That's interesting, right? Because we're talking about risk, and investing does carry risk. How to become a financial expert? How to make more money? We all want to know that. I save money, but I can't use it. Tell me, what should I do? Well, it depends. That's a good question. We'll come back. Where can I learn more about financial planning? I'm going to tell you. How can I start to invest? Lots of places you can look. What kind of investment should I do? And here's a good question. I think the most important question is how to become a billionaire soon enough. Any answer doesn't include bank robbery or finding a bag full of dollars. Ahmed Faris Sendri Gods. That's a great question. How to become a billionaire. I don't have the answer. As soon as I do, I will share it with everybody. How to strike it rich. That's a nice expression. That's to make a lot of money. Lots of questions about investing, right? About managing savings, especially with the kids. Yeah, great question. So listen, this was really interesting. Lots of very, very interesting questions. I will share these results later with you on the YouTube community tab and in Facebook as well. Very, very interesting, right? All of those ideas and questions around money. So let's see. I'm just checking in. Those were the quiz results. I'm going to go straight in, actually, and look at vocabulary. We've talked a bit about some vocabulary there. Before I do that, I've just realized one thing that came up, right? In that, one of those questions was about financial literacy. And somebody asked me about what is financial literacy. I found a definition here, right? Financial literacy is the confident understanding of concepts, including saving, investing, and debt. So saving, like putting your money in the bank, investing, like buying a house, and debt is when you owe money to other people. So it's understanding, how you manage your money, basically. Financial literacy. It's quite a hard word to say. Can you say it with me? Financial, financial literacy, literacy, financial literacy. Yeah, good. Financial literacy. If you want to learn more about financial literacy, I do recommend the Khan Academy. And guys, the moderators, if you could share the link, the Khan Academy. I don't know if you know the Khan Academy, but the Khan Academy has lots of online courses which are totally free. They're really, really good. And they have one about personal finance. And I would recommend it because I think that the Khan Academy is very, very good. And what they do in their, if I make this a bit smaller, in their course, they talk about saving and budgeting, right? How to budget, how to save. They explain interest and debt. So when you owe people money, they talk about investments. It's very USA focused, but the concepts are still the same. They talk about income and benefits, housing, car expenses, taxes, paying for college, right? All of this. This is basically the course summary. I had a look at the saving and budgeting part, and I thought it was interesting. I thought it's well worth having a look at because they ask you interesting questions, right? That you're probably asking yourself. And I found it really, really interesting and useful, even on a basic level. I mean, I have a reasonable level of financial literacy, but I still found it very, very useful as a review and to kind of touch base with some basic ideas. So check it out, the Khan Academy. I think, guys, if you can share the link, that would be really, really nice. I'm pronouncing Khan incorrectly. I'm sorry. Never mind. Okay, so there you go. Let's come back. Where am I? Here I am. Okay. This time, yes, straight into vocabulary. IELTS speaking. So we're talking about money, finance, personal finance. Let's go through some really, really basic but essential vocabulary for this topic. The first word that came to my mind was budget, right? As a noun, a budget. It's a j sound, a budget. A budget. Yes, not to be confused with a budgie. A budgie is a little bird that looks like a parrot. This is a budget. So we talk about making a budget or creating or planning a budget. A budget is a plan of how much you will spend on different things. It's how much money you've got, right? I mean, if you've got $1,000 each month, maybe half goes on rent, maybe 200 on food, 50 on your car. I don't know. That's your budget. So you can make a monthly budget. We can say to make a budget. People often talk about living on a budget, right? To live on a budget. I live on a budget of 500 USD per month. It's not true. Sorry, it's an example. Everybody in the world will be different, but I live on a budget. And if you spend too much money, more than you've allocated on your budget, then we say, I have gone over budget, right? To go or to be over budget. To go or be over budget, which means to spend more than you planned. This usually happens on holiday. You say, well, we'll take 100 for all of our expenses on holiday. And you end up spending 110 because you're on holiday. And you go, well, never mind, I'm on holiday. It's only once a year. And so you may go over budget, right? Or you may be over budget. Likewise, you could go under budget or be under budget as well. Great, budgets are good. We've also got Reham. You've reminded me, my dream is out of my budget. Yeah, so we can also say out of my budget is nice, good. It's out of my budget or beyond my budget. Boba Fon said, I've gone over budget because of my wife. Well, maybe, or maybe because of you. Who knows? Right, good. Abina says, my parents usually make a monthly budget, but we hardly follow it. Great. I don't live within my means. That's an interesting expression, right? To live within my means. That means within my budget, right? I can live within my means, within the money I have. It's a nice expression. Good. I don't live within my means. I don't live within my budget. Lovely. Thank you very much for sharing that. So budget is a noun, but also budget can be a verb, to budget. I will need to budget for a new kitchen this year. So if for example, I know we are going to buy a new kitchen, I need to plan the finance now. So I need to budget for a new kitchen. So to budget, to plan for, or to allocate money. That's another way you can say it, to allocate money for something. Okay, be really careful. Notice the prepositions, because we're going to see a lot of prepositions today. It's to budget for something. So spend money on. Do you remember? Spend money on. Okay, good. So that's budget as a verb. Sorry, I keep glancing at your comments. They're very funny, some of you. Trang says, I will need to budget for a new laptop this year. Excellent. Very, very nice. Great. Anything else? So we've got budget. Budget next as a adjective. It can also be an adjective. We have booked a budget hotel. So as an adjective, basically, it means, you can guess, cheap. Or economical. Economical also means lower price, right? Or a low price. Let's say low price. The reason I'm hesitating is because the word cheap has a bit of a negative connotation. If you say, oh, I bought this cheap t-shirt, or I got this new mobile phone, this cheap phone, it has a negative connotation. It means it's not very good quality, and it was a low price because it's not good quality. So be careful with the word cheap, right? If you say to your friends, we stayed in a cheap hotel, they may think, oh, that's not very nice. Why? But if you say, well, we stayed in an economical hotel, then that's fine, right? It means that you're clever, you've saved money, you got a good price. But if you stayed in a cheap hotel, people might think, well, not good quality. So it can have a negative connotation. It does depend on the context and how you use it. But just be a little bit careful with cheap. Generally speaking, it's fine, right? It's the opposite of expensive, right? This pencil is very cheap. It costs €1. Just be careful when you're talking about normally expensive things and you say it's cheap, it could be negative. So you can say economical, you can say low priced, or it has a low price. It wasn't expensive. Use the opposite as well. Okay. Or budget. We booked a budget hotel. That's quite a common expression. Okay, great. That's budget. Moving on. Another important word then. Once you've got budget, we've got to save money. And again, we say to save for something. Notice, to save for retirement. I'm saving for a car. To save or to save up. I'm saving up to buy a new laptop, for example. So we often use it with the preposition up, to save up, to save up, to save up. So to save has two meanings, right? It can mean to keep money, like to keep money in the bank or under your pillow or in your house. But to save also means to spend less. So the first one, I got them both here already, didn't I? Me and my notes. By saving up to buy a new car, to save up. Let me put these down here. So to save up is to keep money, is the first one. To spend less, I'm going to take this out, put it over here. And you're thinking, Keith, what are you doing? I'm just trying to keep it here. To spend less is to save money, but if you buy in bulk, you save money. Gosh, how to confuse your students in one easy step. Okay, so to save is to keep money, but it's also to spend less money. If you go to the supermarket, sometimes they have a special deal that you buy 3 and you pay for 2 and you save £1. So you spend less money. If you buy in bulk, you can save money. I don't know if you know the expression to buy in bulk is to buy a lot at one time. So normally the shops buy in bulk. The supermarkets buy all their goods in bulk and then they sell to you individually. Okay. Right. For example, Ocean Man says, you'll save money if you go on this tour in a group of 4. Exactly. Mary Jane has a problem. I couldn't save up because I love buying everything. Yeah, well, that is a bit of a problem. I'm trying to save up for my tuition. Exactly. Bulk. Well, I hope too you can see now what bulk is, right? It's buying a lot of something at one time. Okay. Shahrazad gives some advice here. They say, start saving money while you are young. When you have money in your pocket, the impulse to spend it can be very strong. That's a nice a rhyme. Very, very nice. Poetic. But I totally agree. Start saving when you're young. The earlier you start, the better you'll be. The richer you'll be as well. Okay. So we've talked about saving. Let's talk next about investing. Invest, to invest, and this sound is a V. It's quite a difficult V. You need your lips to vibrate against your teeth, and it's voiced. It's a V. V. Invest. Can you say that? Invest. I like to invest. Invest in gold. I like to invest in gold. Try with me. I like to invest in gold. I like to invest in houses. I like to invest in people. You can invest in people as well. Give them an education. So to invest is to put money or time or energy into something, hoping it will grow, basically. So if you put your money into something and you hope it will grow, or that you will get some reward back. Okay. You can invest in stocks and shares. It's another common expression. Stocks and shares are public companies. So if you buy a stock of Apple, it's a public company. You can own a little bit of Apple. But of course, as I mentioned, you can invest time and energy also, as well as money. but invest in. So notice the prepositions, invest in. So this is a verb, but of course we've got the noun, investment. It can be countable. That's a good investment. Bitcoin is a good investment. Maybe, maybe not. Just to remind you, I am not a financial advisor. Please do not follow my advice without doing your own research. Investment can be uncountable. Investment in England has increased in the last 20 years. We've got foreign investment in the country has grown. It can be the uncountable noun as well. And of course, a person is an investor. I'm going to add another one here because I just realized that another important part of personal finance is making money, to earn money, or to make money. To earn, to make, you can make money, you can earn money. What else can you do? You can gain money. No, earn money, make money. You can get that either by having a salary, you can have your wages. Wages is normally a weekly payment. Salary is normally a monthly payment. That's the only difference. Okay. So I'll just add those. And the last one was finance, because this word comes up a lot. Finance as a noun is uncountable, talking about the field. Uncountable. And then financial as the adjective. Financial, it's a sh sound. Financial can have a lot of collocations. We can talk about financial planning when you're organizing things. Financial security, to make sure that you have enough money and you can live. Financial freedom, we talk about, meaning you have enough money, you don't have to worry about money. And we talked about financial literacy, knowing and understanding finance. Just say these with me. Financial planning. Financial security. Financial freedom. Financial literacy. Yeah, nice. Very, very nice. Excellent. Good. So lots of language. Those are the important words, I think, around personal finance. Let me just check in with you guys. See what we've got. Oh, there's another here. Financial aid. Yeah, to other countries. We can talk about financial regulations by your bank, your country's bank, or the government. Financial management is a common, popular topic in universities and schools these days. Financial freedom allows you to do anything you want, almost, so long as you're within the law. Yes. Mehdi says the best part of investing into something is the return. You can say invest into. I would normally say invest in, but that's okay. And the return is what you get back. However, sometimes hard work couldn't pay off. Nice. Which means it doesn't pay off. It doesn't give you the benefit there. Very, very good. My parents wanted me to become financially independent. That's a nice one. Financial freedom, financially independent. Also very, very nice collocation. As Pradip says, we talk about financial trends. Absolutely. Of course, personal finance, which is today's topic, by the way. If you've just joined us, we are today talking all about personal finance. Stock. So a stock, basically stock is the, I don't know the correct terminology, but it's similar to a share. It's a part of a company. It's a small part of a public company that you can buy to own it. So stocks and shares. I don't know exactly the difference, but hey, we can find out right now. Stocks and shares. Meaning. Let's have a look because it is a very, very good question. Let me just take this off. So, often used to describe a slice of ownership of one or more companies. In contrast, shares has a more specific meaning. It often refers to the ownership of a particular company. Stocks, on the other hand, exclusively refer to corporate equities, securities traded on a stock exchange. I'm none the wiser. I still don't fully understand the meaning or the difference, but it's part of a company, right? Financial advisor, that's another collocation. Yes, my brother is a financial advisor, believe it or not. Excellent. So lots of collocations there. Financial problems, indeed. Two says, do you invest in anything, Mr. Keith? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I mean, I think investment is a very, very good idea. But as we're going to discuss, there are different kinds of investments, and you need to balance different things, right? When you invest. For example, okay, as you've brought this up, when you're investing, you need to balance the following. You need to consider high risk versus low risk, because the high risk gives a high return, but the chances are you'll lose all your money. You need to consider the long term against the short term. Long term investments tend to be more stable and safer. Short term investments is making a quick win, right? Or striking it rich, as somebody said, trying to make a lot of money very quickly. Normally high risk, normally not safe, normally, for me, not a good idea. And then you've got volatile versus stable. Some markets change all the time, right? Take the cryptocurrencies. It's a very volatile market. So it's changing up and down. Today it's up, tomorrow it's down, today it's up. It's too volatile. Other markets are just very, very stable, right? If you look at the last 3 years of the NASDAQ or the Dow Jones or these index markets, the SP 500, right? They're going, they're just going up. They're very stable, right? They're very, very stable. So for me personally, I look carefully at balancing low risk and high risk. So I have some high risk and some low risk. I always go long term. I very rarely invest short term. And I tend to look at stable markets. But again, you need a balance. So it's really important, I think, looking at all those different aspects of investing. But the simple answer is yes, I do invest, and I think it's a good idea to invest for your future, for your retirement. The key thing is that I have learnt, right, is only invest money you can afford to lose. That is so important, because if you invest your life savings and then you lose it, you're finished. You'll lose everything. And what's more, you'll think, oh, investing is bad. I will never do it again. Once bitten, twice shy. Where in fact, investing is not bad. It's just managing it carefully. You need to be quite emotionally strong. So if the market becomes volatile, you don't suddenly sell, buy. You don't react, right? You have to stay kind of quite in control. But I think that's really important. Only invest money you can afford to lose. And I'm going to write that down because it's the most important thing I ever learned. Money you can afford to lose. So it's pocket money. It's extra money, right? You should only invest that extra money you've got spare. Don't invest all your savings. I think it's too risky. I don't know who said it, but whoever did, it was very, very clever. Because, right, when I was younger, lots of people said to me, oh, you should invest in this stock, invest in this share. It's going to go up. or in the Forex, invest in this currency pair. It's going up for sure. Nobody knows. It's like the casino. Nobody knows. Even though all of your friends tell you it's going up, nobody knows, really. And you can lose money. Oof. Anyway, lecture over. Sounds like the Khan Academy. The mispronounced Khan Academy. Great. So, investing. So, actually, I went to my Facebook page the other day and I did ask you about investing, what you invest in, right? By the way, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, guys, go to Facebook, go to the Keith's Mastermind community for IELTS Speaking. You can look it up in Facebook. Come and join us. We do a lot of stuff, sharing information, ideas, questions. I like to pick your brains to get your ideas about stuff. And so the other day I was asking people, do you invest? In fact, I asked you the same question, right? Do you invest or have you invested? So what I like to do, I'm going to come back to your questions in a moment. Oh, yes. Right. Oh, some very good questions. Shall I look at the questions first? Okay. Some very good questions. Did you learn that from your brother? Partly, yes. Yes. Only invest the money you afford to lose. Exactly. Very, very good. Nat, ask me here, Nat. What is the best investment for a teenager? Something long-term and stable. I mean, I would definitely have a savings account. I would have a savings account, even though interest rates are so low in most countries. That's going to change in the next 20 years. And a savings account where you put a monthly amount because you get compound interest. Compound interest means that each year it goes up more and more. Go and investigate compound interest because it's mind-blowing. But it means that small investment, so not one-time investment, right? You put some money in every month as a teenager. After 20 years, you'll be sitting on a nice packet. This one from Jaskirit, is financial upliftment? I don't know that one. No, not really. 70% of it save in my bank. Nice to hear your voice again. Thank you very much. Well, yeah, people talk about the different percentages of saving. I try to save about 50%, and I try to invest about 10%. That's what my amounts, my percentages, more or less. But something is too good to fall, right? How do you know? You have no idea. You have no idea. They said that like about the big companies before the financial crisis in 2008. Go back 20 years and look at some of those big companies. Because not only the company can fall, but the whole environment around us can change. It is changing. So we think that Google and Amazon, the digital giants, are part of this new digital world. They're going up and up. I agree. I do invest in both of those, but we're never sure. It is always possible they will fall. They may fall temporarily, and that's why it's good to invest for the long term, because if they go down for a couple of years, they probably will come back up. But you never know. Seriously, we never know. And this advice was the advice from Warren Buffett, right? And Warren Buffett says, only invest in the things that you know well, right? Invest into properties that you know well and do your own financial research. So I totally agree. If you go shopping at, I don't know, Sainsbury's, or here we go to Eroski, whatever supermarket you go to, and you buy certain brands like Tesco brand, or you buy Starbucks coffee, if you know that product and that company and you like it, that is a good place to begin investing, right? It's much better to invest in things that you experience every day, right? I use Apple every day. I love what they do. I will invest in Apple because I think they're going well. Of course, do your financial research. So research about the management, about the shares and the stocks, about what they're doing. Everything is publicly published in a public company. So it's worth doing to find out about it. You don't, when it comes to research, you don't have to do your own. There are some great websites that help you do research. Let me share one of them that I use, the Wall Street. I can't remember exactly the full name. Wall Street, what's it called? If I can find it, I'll share it with you. Simply Wall Street, that's the one. And I actually use this. Here we go. simplywallstreet.st, if you can see that. And they give you financial advice. They do the research for you. It's free. I mean, you can pay, but it's free if you want. And they do research on companies so that they actually find out all the information you need. And you just go into their catalogs and you look at Amazon and they tell you about the management, the history, the things you need to know. Saves you a lot of time, right? Simply Wall Street. Go and check it out. If you're into investing, that is. Okay. Right. Interesting. I didn't know this, but Anita says it's better to invest in the stock instead of a share because if the company goes bankrupt, you can take something of the company. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, didn't know that. Great. Naja, this is a good question. Can we tell as investing in my studies? Can we say investing in my studies? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we can talk about investing in your studies, in your education. Totally, for sure. Okay, great, good. So, talking about investing, I asked my guys on the Facebook page, have you invested? Let's find out what they said and let's see how I reacted to some of their ideas as well. Okay, so let me find out and see what you said. Let's have a look. So let's have a look. Here is the question I asked you. Have you ever invested money in something? I think it's interesting, right? The difference between spending money and investing money. Because when we spend money, the idea is we consume something straight away. But when we invest money, the idea is we get something back even better in the future. Maybe it's just in education, maybe it's in your children, maybe it's in a house or in stocks. Let's find out what you guys said. Jordan says, yes, cryptocurrency. Oh dear, with a unhappy face, which suggests maybe he lost some money. What else have we got? Yes, most of the time you need to invest money in everything, like to go to school, business, travel, even your future. Well, yes, and that I think is the difference between spending and investing. Sometimes it's just a question of mindset that you're getting something back. Hamlet is on the stock market. So I was wondering, is he a day trader, like trading every day, or investing just for the long term, where maybe he trades once a month or something? Yuko is investing in a trust fund, which seems to be more stable and safe. She hopes. Me too. Asma, very interesting, invested in a small library. That's great. I'm assuming that's a personal library, so that's kind of investing in your own education. Let's have a further look down. Farida says, yes, in beekeeping. Look at this. She bought 10 beehives and it became 16. A good long-term investment. She doesn't know how to share the photos. We will wait for those then. We've also got Steve, who's invested in his education, the IELTS study, which I think is a great idea. And a few months ago, Kwang said he or she invested in cryptocurrency but didn't make any profit. So she took the money back but hasn't lost anything. That's good. Sazad says yes, because he or she is an entrepreneur. So, of course, investing in a business is a good idea. Let's have a look down. We've also got here, I invested my money in the National Bank of the USA, fixed account, and found a technical. And I think you mean fund, maybe, F-U-N-D, a fund. Susmita, hello, yes for my business, of course, great idea. Ayesh has invested money in Forex trading. That's where you trade currencies, like pairs of currencies, the dollar and the pound, or the euro and the RMB. I've been trading in a virtual trading platform, great, on a regular basis. Also, the higher the risk, our returns also yield. So that's right, the higher the risk, the higher the returns. But you do need to manage the risk well. Andy has invested to buy a rice field. What a great idea. Brilliant. What else have we got? Sonia, yes, my second thought is we can invest in many things. Houses, land, separate garden, forest, land. That's right. I mean, property and real estate is often a very good investment because the property goes up in value. Great. Well, we've got Aki. Well, many times I invested in different platforms, but what I feel, if you invest in medical hospital management, and you'll get more return compared to others. Last year, I invested in hospital management and got 1/3 part of the investment back in the first quarter. That is very profitable. Wow, very good. Unfortunately, Marwa tried but lost it all. You know, most people do when they invest in short-term investments. I think about 70% of the people lose their money, which is why long-term investments are seen as being better. Milan says, no, but I like to invest. I would like to invest. Can you help me? Maybe I can. Keep watching. Lur says, I've been investing in real estate. What about you? Well, me, personally, investing in real estate, I've invested in a few different things over the years, and I'll tell you more about it. But they include stocks, cryptocurrencies, Forex, and education. What else? My husband did that. Monica says her husband invested. Saba says, yes, I invested not only in my IELTS prep, but also in different modalities so I can treat my patients more effectively. I wonder what that means then. I'm not too clear what the modalities refers to. Interesting. And Namika says, I have invested to buy an apartment which has turned out to be a profitable investment. That's great, right? Because I assume the property has increased in value, or you're renting it. As investing in that area was a tough decision, also becoming a solopreneur leads lots of investments. Tell me about it. You do need to invest as a solopreneur. Let's take one more in here. Jem says, I was able to get a 2-door condominium in my country. I was elated because it was such a good investment. I can use it if I want to. And I was planning to have the next door for rent. After a month long of paying it monthly, I lost my job. Then I made a pledge to the company to pay my dues. This is going into a long story, Jem. To my dismay, I feel that I don't like to invest anymore. We have the expression in English, once bitten, twice shy. When things go bad, you're reluctant then to try again. Fair enough. Listen, let me call that a stop for a moment. There's quite a few interesting ideas there. Let's move on. So thank you, guys. Thank you very much for all of those comments and contributions. It was so interesting to read about it. So it is, there are lots of different kinds of investments, but let's remember, right? This is an English class, not a financial class. So it's interesting, but let's keep focused on the English, okay? So we've had a look here at investments, and I talked about things to consider, right? Talked about high risk, low risk, long-term, short-term. Other vocabulary that came up, I think, is interesting around risks, especially because in IELTS speaking, I think in the past we've had questions about risks, about taking risks. So a nice collocation to have is to take calculated risks. So that means to think carefully, analyze, and then make a decision. Calculated risks. This is a tricky word, right? Risks in the plural. Can you say with me risk? Risk. The k. And then risks. So it's a risks. K. The k and the s almost come together. Ks. 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 It's like opening the Coca-Cola bottle. Ks. Risks. Risks. Take risks. Not bad. Take calculated risks. Manage the risk. We need to manage the risk. Again, feel the rhythm. We need to manage the risk. We need to balance the risk. Balance the risk. High risk or low risk. With investment, you probably want to balance the risk. And then the other one I'll just come back to is return on your investment. I mean, literally, we do. I mean, those of you who study finance, you'll know ROI is return on investment. So you want to get a good return on your investment. You want a good ROI, right? You can say ROI. Most people know that. And I just noticed we had this lovely expression. It's actually a proverb, right? Once bitten, twice shy. That means if, for example, imagine you're feeding the dog and the dog bites you. Then next time, the second time, you're going to be very shy and you don't want to do it. So when you try something and it doesn't work, that often means next time you don't want to try. Once bitten, twice shy. It's a very good expression. Well, it's a proverb that we still use. And I've noticed in the investment circle, this comes up a lot. A lot of people invest once, doesn't work, and they give up. Once bitten, twice shy. Excellent. Very, very good. Let's move on. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to show you these. I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to tell me, what do you think is the best investment? And this is just to practice your English, right? Rather than thinking about finance or investment, it doesn't matter. But just to practice your English, what do you think is the best investment? Works of art, cryptocurrency, stocks, gold, a savings account, or real estate? Real estate is property, right? Houses, things like that. Savings account is in the bank where you have the interest rate. So you can think about, well, I think gold is a good investment because it's a stable market. You can invest for the long term. So think about your English, think about phrases you can practice. What is the best investment? What do you think? Have a look, and I'm going to show you a little picture to put all of these up. Let's see if we can practice a little bit. Why is it called real estate, Deepika? I don't know. It's a good question. But it just means property, houses. Right, good. Mohammed, you said gold. Tell me why. Okay, brilliant. Chance for me to have a drink. Okay. Of course, there's other things you can invest, but those are just some ideas there. So let's have a look what we've got. Vianti says, me and my husband prefer cryptocurrencies. It's very volatile, but you might make a quick win. Noof says the best way to investing your money is on gold, in gold. Invest in gold, right? Invest in something. Right, gold, interesting. For Tran, real estate. For another, for Trang, savings account. Yosra says, I'm rather a risk taker, more than risk averse, without the a. Because I like the adrenaline rush that it offers. I mean the results of the risk, whether it could pay off or sometimes not, right? So to pay off is to give you the result that you're after. Nice language, risk taker, risk averse. Very nice, like it. For Min, she tells us that in Vietnam, it must be real estate. However, we need to have a large amount of capital. Nice. Capital is the money that you need. Absolutely. Andang, real estate. So maybe this reflects the Vietnamese market, right? Avec qui manger. Nice. Real estate, because it can pay for itself. I think that's the expression you want. It can pay for itself. That's right. Because when you buy real estate, well, first, the value goes up, hopefully. Secondly, you can rent it, or you can live there. Or thirdly, you could lease it for a commercial entity as well. It pays for itself. Nice, good. Do has a very good point. It depends on your knowledge on the matter. Without enough insight, nice. Something thought to be the best can turn out to be the worst. Great English. I like that very much. I agree with what you're saying as well. Pot, real estate, because it doesn't depreciate. Nice language. Depreciate is to go down in value. Appreciate is to go up in value. Real estate doesn't depreciate. Sometimes it can, but often it doesn't. You're right. We've got a lot of gold fans here. Paul as well is in for gold. I've seen quite a few people going for gold. Pradeep as well going for gold. Sounds like the Olympics. Going for gold. Best investment is gold. Gold and currencies. Yes, you can do the Forex as well. Forex, though, is short term usually, right? So it's a bit more volatile. Very interesting. Right. Good language. Great. Anything else? Maybe one more comment. Let's share. Min says, I used to invest in gold, but now I want to try investing in real estate. I think it's better and more profitable. Nice word, profitable. It has a good ROI, right? Excellent, good. So lots of ideas about different investments. So again, the focus on the language, some really good language we can talk about here. I'm going to move on and have a look next. Changing topic completely. First of all, I need to have a little drink before we move on. Let me do this. Coffee, Wi-Fi, muffin. No muffin today. In fact, no coffee. I'm on water. So where are we? Oh yes, it's this one. I almost forgot. Sorry. The next thing we're going to do is, let me come back. This will help me. It's my guide. Vocabulary. We've talked about whether you've invested, right? And actually, we've talked about best investments a little bit. Again, this is not financial advice. This is English advice. Next up, I'd like to look at a toolbox. So in my toolbox, I like each week to kind of pick out a tool, something that will help you with your learning of English. And I discovered this one a while back, but I still use it quite a lot, especially when I'm researching, and I think it's really interesting. So let's have a look. Let's have a look first of all in the toolbox. Right, so it's called Word Hippo, right? This is what I've got. It's called Word Hippo, which is interesting. It's a word tool, if you like. So Word Hippo. Let me come back in. Dear oh dear, dear oh dear. You don't want me twice, do you? No, you don't want me twice. Where's it gone? Here it is. Behind the scenes. Wordhippo.com. So listen, let me show you on the website. It'll be easier. Basically, it's a vocabulary tool that can help you, and I'll explain why I like it. So when you go into Word Hippo, you can put in any word, and it will be like a thesaurus. So it can give you another word. But what's great is it can give you the opposite, a meaning, sentences with, you can translate, you can even play Scrabble with it, or even other things like words starting with. But another word for, let's take, for example, budget, right? We took this word, we were looking at budget. And if I put in budget, it will give me what's another word for budget. So basically synonyms. Allowance, allocation. So here you've got all the other words. If it's a noun, but it also takes into account that it may have different meanings, right? So you'll probably find down here the verb as well. Yeah, the verb to budget, to allocate, to allot, to reserve. And then if you're not sure, you can click on straight away and it takes you to the analysis of that word, to allocate. Okay, that's nice. Now, if you look at the very top, what I love about this, let me just go back to budget, right? If you go to the top, you can look at antonyms. So you can get the opposite of budget. You can get a definition. What does it mean? So it's a wallet, a purse, or a bag. It's the amount of money or resources earmarked. If it's a verb, it can explain here, but it then gives you sentences. So straight away, you can get the context, how to use budget in a sentence. And these are great. I love these. And what's more, you can listen.
Neither our lease nor our budget will allow us to raise our buildings to put in showcase perfect sustainable materials.
I always find this useful in other languages to help me make sure I get the right preposition. So you can see the collocations and the context. And if you want, you could do translations. But of course, you need to choose the language that you want. It's not doing it at the moment. And it also goes into word forms. So for example, I can find the plural, singular, past tense. Let's say I want to find the plural of budget, and it will find it. Of course, it's budgets. This one's quite simple. But the plural is budgets. For other words, it's very, very useful. That's it. That's the word hippo. And if you play Scrabble, I just love this. If you do play Scrabble, right, what it allows you to do is put the letters you've got. Let's say Gurtswa. Imagine those are the letters you've got in Scrabble, and it will give you Different words you can make with those. Straw, warts, swag, wags. Great if you're into Scrabble. 9-letter words. Anyway, Word Hippo, simple tool, help you with your vocabulary. I think it's a bit more than a dictionary and a bit more fun, more flexible than a dictionary. There you go. You can go and check it out if you like it. That's the Word Hippo toolbox. Right, what's after that? Well, let's come and check. I think it's time for idioms, right? If I remember correctly, after toolbox, idioms. Let's look at some idioms on the topic of personal finance. Okay, first of all, I've got to be on a shoestring budget. So a shoe and the string that you tie on your shoe, the lace, is the shoestring. On a shoestring budget means with little money to spend. So maybe if you're a student, you're on a shoestring budget. I think in many countries, when you're a university student, you have to pay off a loan. You're in debt. So you're always on a shoestring budget, right? You have little money. The same meaning that we can say to be on a tight budget. Tight budget, meaning with little money. Very often we go on holiday and we're on a tight budget in the last day or two because we've spent so much money. We've often gone over budget. Now, if you're on a tight budget, you may need to tighten your belt. So your belt is with your trousers, right? The belt, and to tighten your belt just means to be a bit more careful with your money. Be careful how you're spending money. So you need to tighten your belt. For example, we don't have much money, so we need to tighten our belts this month. Great. In addition, we've got to make ends meet. To make ends meet. End of the finger, make the ends meet. Basically, it means to cope or to survive, especially financially. Let me add that because I think it's especially financially. For example, it's hard to make ends meet at the end of the month, right? It's hard to survive. There's not enough money at the end of the month because most people get paid their salary at the beginning of the month. They go and spend it, buy things, and then at the end of the month, there's very little money left and it's hard to make ends meet. So you have to tighten your belt at the end of the month, right? Great. Naja says, I have to tighten my belt a bit because I'm a free spender. Very, very good. Pradeep says, I always had to tighten my belt to save money, though, when I was a kid. Yes, good. Very good. It's hard to make ends meet at the end of the month. Monica says, in Italy, we also say stringere la cinta, which is great. Similar idea. I think many languages have the same thing, right? Money's too tight to mention. Yes. Simply Read. I remember that. That's going back a while. Yes. I'm just hard up right now. Right, to be hard up. That's a good one. Let's add that one in there. To be hard up means to have little money. I think there's so many expressions around this. Bear with me. To be hard up. So it's often temporarily. It doesn't mean you're poor. It's normally temporarily. I'm hard up at the moment and can't afford to go to the pub. Very British example. I'm hard up at the moment. I'm just too hard up. I can't afford to go to the pub. Great. As Rakia says, it's hard to make both ends meet these days, especially in times of COVID. Very, very true. I'm broke is a good one. Yes, to be broke equals to have no money left. I'm broke. Let me put that one up there. Thanks to, that's brilliant. Let me bring this one up. To be hard up, to be broke. We've got to get by is to cope or survive. So we had to make ends meet is to cope or survive. Normally in the negative, I can't make ends meet, but to get by is to cope and survive. I can get by until my next paycheck. So it means I've got enough money to cope. So all of this in the context of money, right? Great. To get by. A juggling act is a nice expression. So a juggling act is something that is difficult to balance. Anything that's difficult to balance. This happens to a lot of parents. Idioms, let's move that out. A lot of parents who have so many responsibilities. You have a new job. You have children. You have to look after the family. You have to cook, right? You have to balance all of these different things. It's a juggling act. It's really hard to do. So leading a family is a juggling act. Studying and working at the same time is a juggling act. It's like a balancing act. So it's juggling acts. For example, controlling monthly budgets is a juggling act. It's a juggling act. It's not easy to say, but you can say it with me. A juggling act. A juggling act. It's a juggling act. Exactly. Great. What else have we got? Is capitalism a juggling act? I don't know. I'm not sure. We've got here, Kar Himlo says, I endeavour not to spend money because I am extravagant on buying things. Otherwise, I will tighten my belt this month. Good. Tighten my belt this month. Great. Life seems to be a juggling act. Absolutely. Absolutely. Making ends meet is a bit of a juggling act. Very, very good. Excellent. I hope we can all get by in the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's just put in there. We can get by in the pandemic. Anything else? Good. Those are great. Those are nice idioms. Lots of idioms there that we've got. There may be some more. I will check in the messages later and maybe add some to the list. But those are great. So, gosh, where are we? Where are we indeed? We've been looking at idioms. We're coming to the review, right? The final thing, we are today going to do a Kahoot. We're going to do a Kahoot just to practice some of the language that we've been looking at today on personal finance. For those of you who are new, this is just a very simple game that we're going to play to help practice some of the vocabulary that we've been learning. Nice, good. What you'll need to do is to go to kahoot.it. So stay with me in the screen, but on a different browser, or use your mobile phone or another screen and go to kahoot.it, and there you will be able to play this with me. So I just need to sign in and get the game rolling. So just give me a moment while I do this, and I'll keep an eye on your comments. We can share some of your comments as we're going. Nice one from Tom Vu. I like it very much. I'm hard up and I have to tighten my belt. Inderjit, I like it. Funny. Probably not funny. It's probably true, right? What else have we got? Good. Let me get this. I want to play. Sorry, it just takes me a minute to set up the Kahoot. Barzin, this is a very good point. Controlling and being well prepared for all 4 skills. Yes, is a juggling act. It is indeed. Okay, excellent. So listen, for Kahoot, what you need to do, right, is when you get into Kahoot, .it, it asks you for a name. So just go and put in your name and put in the PIN. And the PIN is 8253237. 8253237. So just put in your name and you can play with us. Don't worry if you can't get in. You can still play by putting your answer in the chat. What will happen is you'll need to look at the screen to get the questions. That's the main screen with me. And then in the Kahoot browser, you will see the answers. You basically choose one of 4 answers. Thanks for sharing the pin, guys. I'll just give everybody a few moments to get in. Bring home the bacon. That's a good one. Bring home the bacon, which means to earn the money. Great. Dealing with my parents is such a juggling act. Random, my advice to you is have one girlfriend, my friend. Martina, fantastic. You've got the exam. How lucky you are. Your exam is coming. Best of luck. I'm sure you'll do a fantastic job. Go and break a leg. Great. Iftikhar, you learned a lot. I'm pleased to hear that. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind. Thank you. Great. Okay. We've got Mohammed from Iran. Hello, Mohammed. Are you in the game? Let's get going. I'll just take this off. We've got quite a few people in the game, so we can start. I'm just going to make the screen a bit bigger so we can all see it. Let's begin. Personal finance. I'll read the question. I need to budget blank a new kitchen this year. I need to budget blank a new kitchen this year. So it's what's the correct preposition? On, in, for, over. Make your choice. On, in, for, over. Shakil, well done. Rehab, Sheely, well done as well. There you go. The answer is 4. 91 of you got it right. To budget for something, right? If you need to plan for something. So be careful with that. Watch the prepositions. To budget for something. Excellent. Let's see who was the fastest. Heaven was the fastest. And then we've got Fuk, Poo, Fuad, and Tim. Okay, next question. My wife is saving blank for a new car. In, up, over, out. My wife is saving blank for a new car. You've got 30 seconds. In, up, over, out. I'm confident you'll all do well on this one. Well done, Harpreet. Loading 2%. Well done. Wow, look at that. Yes, saving up for a new car. 181. Well done. That's excellent. Pleased to see that. So, Heaven is still up in first place. Pooh is coming in second and Alexander in third place. Question number 3. Cryptocurrencies are not very stable. They are too blank for me. Volatile, low risk, terminable, valuable. Cryptocurrencies are not very stable. They are too blank for me. Something wrong, yes. It's the I forgot to put the picture. Never mind. What's the answer? Whoa, fantastic. Yes. So the opposite of stable is volatile. They're always changing, right? One day they're up, one day they're down. Volatile. Great. Well done, everybody. That's a really good answer. So Heaven is still up there, and Pooh and Alexander too. And Hemdeep is the fastest climber. We're moving on to the last question. I recently lost my job, so I'm on a blank budget nowadays. Necklace, belt, bracelet, shoestring. I recently lost my job, so I'm on a blank budget. Come on, guys, let's see. Kalpana, it's a good answer, but it's not one of the choices. Mariamus as well. Good answer, but not on the choice. Now that's interesting. A lot of people said belt. I noticed a belt budget. No, 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 no. The expression is to tighten your belt, but here it's a shoestring budget. I'm on a shoestring budget, which means a tight budget, a very small budget, right? You haven't got much money. I'm on a shoestring budget. Okay, well done. Nice. So let's see how we finish up. Alexander, third place. Pooh, I've got a feeling. It's Heaven. It is Heaven. Well done. First place. Clara and Tim were the runners-up. Very, very nice. Well done, guys. So listen, that was fantastic. I'm going to come back, make myself bigger. Brilliant. Well done to all of you who participated and who have been paying attention, learning idioms, expressions, collocations, all about personal finance. Interesting for your personal finance, and also maybe whetting your appetite from an investment point of view. Please do be careful. If you choose to invest, only invest money you can afford to lose right now. Okay, that's it. So do remember, if you're on YouTube, do remember to do what? To subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications to find out about my videos. I actually, this Saturday, I do not have a video because lots of stuff is happening in my life at the moment. So I'm doing the live lessons, but this Saturday there's no video, but next week there will be. What you can do, follow me on Facebook. Come and join the Facebook group as well, Keith's Mastermind for IELTS Speaking. Lots of activity going on there. You can share ideas with each other, motivate each other. Maybe find a speaking partner if you want to practice as well. And you can follow me on the Facebook page. Do remember, I've got the website, the Keith Speaking Academy, and you can find on there, after the lesson, probably in about 4 or 5 hours, if you go there, you will see, not that, but you will see this. If you go to the free live lessons tab up here, click on that, and you'll be able to go and find the latest lesson. You can click on it, you can download the file, you can watch it again if you like. And if you want to get the previous lessons, you can just go down here and get the PDFs and study all the different topics. Wow, we've done so many topics. Like, this has been going on for over a year. So there's lots of information there for you. There's lots of information about the test. If you want to find out about the test, the evaluation, the topics in IELTS, part 1, part 2, etc. If you want to study with me, you can go to the homepage, press the Study with Me button, and that will tell you more about my online course that you can follow with me. I think it's very affordable and very, very useful for you to help prepare for IELTS speaking. And what else If you want to find out about the other courses I've got, just go in the top where it says my online courses. And you can press there, and it'll tell you more about the fluency course as well. So you can find out about those courses. It's all on the website, the Keith Speaking Academy. Everything you need to know about IELTS speaking, and even just English. I mean, a lot of IELTS is just improving your English. So even if you're not interested in IELTS, you can just come and find lots of interesting stuff, hopefully to help you. That's it. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. Take care. Look after, we say in English, look after the pennies, and the pounds will look after themselves. So the pennies are the small currency, the coins, right? The coins. Look after the pennies, and the pounds, the big things, will look after themselves. Take care of the small things. Don't worry too much about the big things. That's it. Lovely to see you, friends. Take care. All the best. Stay safe. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye now. Cheerio.